Right, it's time to check out the hot topic of the week. This is Friday on the week where Wyrmscraig was released. And what we are going to do is we are going to make ourselves the fur pouch, and then we are going to check out golem crafting. The first thing we will do is we will find the spined larupias. And those should be somewhere around this area. Let's see if we can find any of them. I see some. Let's give them a little tag on so we can actually properly see them. We will have to chop down some trees so we can actually catch these, I think. And we'll have to find the pit. The pit is right there. Okay, it's hard to see in this jungle area. Anyways, what do you need for this? Basically, you're gonna need yourself a needle and some thread to make the pouch itself. Then you're gonna need an axe or some logs. The axe is nice because you can chop the logs here as you are in a jungle area with a lot of logs around. You will then also need a knife and a teasing stick, or the throwing teasing sticks if you've done hunter rumors. So a quick test to see if you can do it with a combination of larupia fur and tati larupia fur, but I don't think so. Nope. So these do not work. You need actual larupia fur. So after getting 4 of these furs, use your needle on it and you get small fur pouch. Now we have to move on to the next one, which is the medium fur pouch. So for this one we will use fairy ring CKR to go to the Karamja area, and there we can hunt these horned crocs, which will give us the furs for the next pouch. I believe it's somewhere around this area. Yeah, the pits are over there. And we will need, is it 3 of these or is it also 4? No, it is actually 3 of these, so we need 1 less. So once you get yourself 3 of these furs, I'm not sure if you use them on the pouch. No, because that fills the pouch. Okay. What if we just use the needle on it? There we go. We do get ourselves the medium fur pouch. Okay, now for this last one, we will take the fairy ring to DKS. And then we run west off of the mountain. And we run north. And there are some dead trees over there as well. So as long as you have your axe with you, you should be able to get the trees or the logs that you need. Wherever you need to hunt these creatures. Now to make this last one, weirdly you do need 65 hunter to catch these. It's going to be relevant anyways for the method we are doing. I think you need 67 hunter, but you can use any furs later to do the actual golem crafting. However, you do really want the large fur pouch, and you want to have at least a level for dark cabbits, but we are going to be doing dashing cabbits. We should be able to get the dashing cabbits quite fast because they are very easy to catch. I know this from hunter rumors, and that's going to be the plan to fill up the pouch. Yes, that's the right one, so let's go. And there we have ourselves the large fur pouch. Now to move on with this method, we do not need the knife anymore. We are now done with the knife. We don't need the thread. We didn't use any thread. I thought it told me I needed 100 thread. Apparently that was a lie. Something you can keep in mind. Maybe it does require you to have the thread to actually make the item. I did not test that. We don't need the teasing stick anymore. What you will need though is a rune pickaxe, a chisel, and a hammer, for which I'm choosing to use the offhand Imkando hammer. But do note that if you want to do the quest to get to Wyrmscraig itself, this hammer will actually not work, so you will have to bring a regular hammer with you. I'm also bringing expert mining gloves, although I have no idea if they will actually work for this, but I guess we will find that out. I'm gonna get rid of this axe, drop this needle, make as much space as we can, and then we are ready to move on to golem crafting. If you're gonna do golem crafting, you're gonna need to mine 5 rocks that you are gonna have to use to craft your golems with. So you're gonna want to have your inventory space at least at 5 available spaces as an ultimate item, and that would be the minimum to make a single golem. Ideally you can make 25 spaces. Now I obviously can't make 25 spaces because I already have 7 items in the inventory. The best I'm probably gonna be able to do is the 20 spaces I have available right now should be just fine. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go to the falconry area because we need to fill up this large fur pouch with dashing cabbit fur. to do this, I think we need to open the large fur pouch, so they automatically go inside of the pouch and we don't have to manually use them on the pouch. So for the furs itself, it is quite simple. And if you've done hunter rumors, you've probably done this many times and you absolutely love this. Lol, a random crashed star. Let's get our bonus stardust real quick. There we go. Did it just explode or was it the rendering bug? Anyways, you're gonna run to the east from the fairy ring and then you're gonna go and take off your weapon, your offhand or shield and your gloves, and then you're gonna go right click quick falcon with this guy Matthias. You will have to pay him 500 GP to get yourself a falcon. Then there is a dashing cabbit that I recommend you mark, which is this one over here, but soon you will see his actual respawn point is it over there? Do I just have all of them marked? I have all of them marked, but there should be one that respawns in a very easy spot. I think it's this one. Spawn point should be like right here. Yeah, there we go. So this tile, could mark the tile as well. You have this little corner here, and like 9 out of 10 times he'll kind of get trapped between his spawn point and this little tree and the fence, which means that he's by far the fastest guy to hunt. As you can see, he doesn't really move much. There's not a big distance between the falcon and the dashing cabbit. You will catch it quite quickly. Even if you fail, you'll kind of get stuck here at the fence. It is only very rarely that he actually runs off in the other direction, so this should be very easy for you to fill up your pouch, and then you can check, of course, to see if your pouch is actually full. This one will hold up to 28 furs, so that's the magic number we are going for, 28 furs in the pouch. And then you could also have furs in your inventory, but if you're gonna put furs in your inventory, you're gonna lose out on inventory space to do the golem crafting itself. So you're gonna wanna find some nice balance there. I would say keep 20 spaces, that way you can, 20 spaces with your items equipped, because of course you need to put items in your inventory to actually do the catching of the cabbits here. I seem to sometimes be getting some dark cabbits by accident, which not ideal, but I won't be bothered to get these out of my fur pouch because it's only a 40 XP difference. But still, try to catch the dashing cabbits because they give you more XP. And we have about half a pouch to go, so I'll see you when the pouch is full and we go to Wyrmscraig. So with our pouch full, I teleport out using the Slayer ring, going to Wyrmscraig. It's better, I think, to use the necklace of passage, but I'm not gonna bother making these. You can actually equip one of these Slayer rings to make a bit more space because we did grab an additional fur. And now we will go off here, and the first time you do this during the quest you need to mine a rock away to actually use that shortcut. But I mean, that's pretty easy, and you can do it during the quest, or you can do it now because you should be bringing a pickaxe with you anyways. Wait, what happened with my mining gloves? Oh shit, no way. Did I lose my mining gloves? I dropped my expert mining gloves. That's fucking insane. That was so much work. I did that on amethyst, guys. That is... Whoo! Oh, I'm glad I got these back. Wait, let's... How did I... Oh, it looks like a... Looks kind of like a fur, doesn't it? Or like something you would get from hunting something. Whoo! What the hell? So at Wyrmscraig we'll be mining these sunstones, and you get some kind of momentum or whatever it is here, and you need to, within 5 ticks, be mining another rock, so don't stand still too much and try to move on to other rocks kind of immediately. That way you get momentum and it goes a bit faster. It does seem like expert mining gloves are working here. Don't drop them at the falconry area, that would be very, very dumb. Also, yeah, you can kind of slow AFK these a little bit because of the expert mining gloves. But I don't know if it counters the momentum mechanic of mining another rock very quickly after mining a rock. I don't know if you can just mine it till depletion then move on to the next one. Regardless, we can start golem crafting, so you will just craft this little pillar, and now you will have to stand on each side of the pillar to do some crafting, essentially. Yeah. So this is the activity. Let's reset the per hour and add this to my canvas. Fun stuff, guys, fun stuff. So we'll mine from each side, or chisel from each side, so it looks like top down we are chiseling out this little golem. And then we need to make a core. So you use your chisel on a sunstone, which makes a sunstone core. Insert the core into the golem, which powers the golem and automatically applies the fur from your fur pouch, I do believe. Let's check the fur pouch. Yeah, it's down to 27. Oops, let's pick that up. That has left click drop. And this is basically how you would do it. So make the pillar, mine all around the pillar, or chisel all around the pillar rather. Chisel down one block to make yourself the golem head or core, put it in the golem, and then automatically it should apply the fur to the golem, and it takes it from your fur pouch first. So as you can see, it's easy to have some inventory space. You don't really want to only do this with 5 spaces and then have to run back and forth between the mine the whole time. Probably not ideal. It looks like we're getting a decent XP rate. But the real question is, how long will it take us to get back with a full fur pouch? So yeah, that is going to make a massive difference, of course, in the actual XP per hour we are going to get here. It also looks like you receive uncut gems, which, oh, there we go, 89 crafting. We don't really care about these uncut gems, at least I don't. Probably need to click this again after getting that level, I do. So level ups will interrupt your golem crafting. Let's insert the power core. Get a lot of XP, make another power core for this next golem, and then let's go start the golem crafting. There seems to be a bit of a delay before you can craft another golem. But yeah, this is the activity. I'll see you guys when the fur pouch is emptied, and then we will go back to Hunter and see how long it takes us to get another full pouch of dashing cabbage. So it actually couldn't be easier with expert mining gloves. There's 2 places where you have 3 ores, or rocks rather, and you can just sit there and alternate between the rocks. The timing comes out perfectly with the fact that you can mine 2 per rock. So this is actually way easier than I was expecting. That's so chill. Can I make multiple cores while going in? I can, so I can prep the cores even in advance. Then I can get started. Very nice. So another important concept I want to show you is that there is a delay when trying to craft another golem after you finish a golem. And there's a way to bypass this and get better XP per hour, which is if you finish the golem, click the other platform and just start crafting your golem there, because you have to wait for your golem to run away before you can actually start building another golem on that platform. And this little thing alone is going to cause you to save a lot of XP per hour, because it is a really long time before you can start, well, relatively long before you can start your next golem, which is just a stupid delay that is gonna cause you to get less XP per hour, and there's absolutely no reason why we would want to reduce our XP per hour here. So definitely use both platforms. That's a good tip. Another thing I've done is I've made sure that my ground items plugin is not showing any of these gems. I actually have to reduce diamonds to there. if it lets me, and what that does is it doesn't allow me to click it based on a setting in the ground items plugin, making sure that I'm not getting actually ragged by having gems all over the floor. So we've basically finished the full bag of furs, and we are back at the dashing cabbits now, trying to get more furs. We started the tracker when we were doing the first golem, so we will now get back to that point and then check the tracker, and it should give us a good idea of how much crafting XP we will actually be getting per hour, because here it's going to go down drastically as we refill the pouch with furs, not gaining any crafting XP. This is going to be the gameplay loop. We've basically almost completed, or did a complete loop, just the tracker is incomplete right now. But yeah, 76k from the first trip, you could say, to Wyrmscraig Isle. And that's it. We're already done collecting ourselves the new full pouch. So we now have 28 furs in the pouch. We can get our gear back on and go back to the golem crafting spot. And we made it all the way around back to golem crafting. So it looks like this is a 120k per hour method, because as soon as we finish this first golem, it's gonna pop back up to above 120k, and I think that's where it will average out. Just right about what I calculated, which is kind of funny. So without even having seen any video footage on golem crafting or anything about golem crafting, I made some calculations and it came down to about 120k an hour on paper, and that seems to be about exactly the rate we are going to be getting. So I wonder how much difference we can get with the Necklace of Passage, but other than that, I think this method is pretty optimized. It's definitely going to be the fastest to do this with dashing cabbits, because any other fur would take a significantly longer time to get. I'm fucking up here. Let's make that golem, and yeah, we're back to 120k. And now that we are making golems actively again, our XP per hour will go up, and it will go down again as we go and hunt for more furs. But this seems to be where the XP per hour is sitting at. So right on the theoretical idea that I had on paper. So 120k. It's nice to see it in practice. How good is this? Yeah, that's that's a valid question. It definitely beats glass blowing by a long shot, but it is very depending on how you treat crafting, right? So if you're one of those people who enjoys doing the occasional giant seaweed farm and getting some mining XP at a sandstone quarry, passively basically banking crafting XP through molten glass, and then at some point you want to do artifact thieving and combine that with blowing molten glass on your UIM and then dropping whatever you make, that could be a very valid method, right? So you have people who do this. They would have the noted supplies on hand, they would have the lunar spell for super glass make, they would unload at the bank, they would make the use the super glass spell to make the molten glass, blow the molten glass as they're retrieving artifacts and doing that kind of multi-skilling where you're getting both crafting XP and thieving XP. I will say this is an interesting avenue. I'm already 99 thieving, so for me, progressing towards maxing my UIM, this is not really interesting. But if that's your situation, I think that is still a more interesting route to take. However, a lot of people don't really enjoy artifact stealing as a thieving method, and I think that also needs to be factored in. Then let's compare this to more traditional crafting methods where most of the crafting XP is not coming from multi-skilling. Glass blowing is pretty bad. It is bad until you get to the light orbs, which is level 87 crafting. Now, most people will be glass blowing to get to 87 in the first place, and you get a significantly lower rate before you are level 87 crafting. So that's one thing you want to keep in mind. The XP per hour for glass blowing caps out at around 106k an hour if you're highly efficient doing glass blowing. But you can get slightly more crafting XP from Dorgashun light orbs. So if you glass blow light orbs and then craft light orbs, you can make that XP per hour go up, and you will also get crafting XP not only from your molten glass that you are making with the glass make spell and then blowing, you are actually also getting XP from doing the Dorgashun light orbs in the Dorgish Khan city itself. So this is interesting to maximize the XP you get per molten glass, but it is actually slower than this method, which is interesting because before you can glass blow, you need to do giant seaweed farm runs, and you need to also, going the wrong way, you need to do giant seaweed farm runs, first of all, and secondly, you need to mine a lot of sandstone at the sandstone quarry to get your buckets of sand. Meaning this is actually the best UIM crafting methods in the game currently. There is no better way, if you don't have supplies, to get this kind of crafting XP per hour. Of course, if you're gonna mine stars to 50 mil mining XP and then cut all the gems, you will get a higher rate of crafting XP per hour, but I don't think it's realistic for most people. Besides, you probably want to save your mining XP for things like room crafting, calcified deposits for prayer XP. So yeah, the more I think about it, this really is the best method to train crafting on a UIM. It is honestly quite game changing. And I thought at first it was gonna be really bad because as a UIM you don't have a way to get noded first, right? But it doesn't really seem to matter because the XP you get from the dashing cabbits is only 40 XP lower than the highest tier fur you can use, which would be Moonlight Antelope. So yeah, given that the dashing cabbits give such an incredible XP rate here, I think this is the best crafting training currently in the game. So just a final update on the XP per hour for the golem crafting as a UIM. Been doing this for almost 2 hours now, and the XP seems to be around 125k an hour, which is even a little bit better than I thought earlier. I thought it would average out at around 120k, but yeah, it's a little bit better. I think what mostly helped was disabling left click on all the cabbits except the dashing cabbits, making the fur collecting a lot faster, and getting a bit more used to the clicks, the timing of going around the pillar, making the sun cores as you're running up from the mine back to these platforms, and of course a very important thing that I wasn't doing in the beginning of the video was going between the two platforms to start the golem rather than waiting because you already have a golem spawn on this one before you can build another statue. So I was wrongfully assuming in the beginning that you just had to wait, but you can easily just go between the platforms and immediately make another golem, which does seem to speed it up enough so that the XP per hour actually goes up a bit beyond the 120k. So this rate is already taking into account the time needed to go collect the furs, because this is almost 2 hours now of tracking. So yeah, that's I would say really good. Still fully expecting this to get nerfed. I've talked about this with a bunch of people, and I don't seem to be the only one who thinks this is a little bit too OP. And if this is the general consensus of many people on Reddit, online, Discord, forums, but also just in-game, Jagex will definitely have an eye on that very sentiment amongst the players. So I think it's gonna get nuked. Not like completely nuked to the extent how they treated the crystal extractor in sailing. But yeah, they will either change some requirements or come up with some blog post about how this is not the intended XP rate because blah 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 blah, and then, you know, fine tune it a little bit, which is normal for new content. But it's usually Jagex's like philosophy, so to speak, to try and be more on the lower end and then buff if needed. But here they really just went all out and, you know, released something into the game which changes the meta so drastically that I do think they will rebalance it a little bit, but we will see. Anyways, it is a very interesting little crafting minigame. I definitely recommend you check this out. If you still need crafting levels, or you need levels for your Zenites or Amethyst Dart Tip crafting, then definitely jump on the boat with this one, because it's the easiest crafting XP you're gonna get on your Ultimate Iron Man, and even on your regular Iron Man or Hardcore at this point of time in the game. There is never going to be as easy crafting XP as this, unless you got some passive gems banked from star mining or something like that. So yeah, 100% win update, I would say, but I'm not expecting this to remain a thing indefinitely. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something. And next video I will be posting a UIM review on the new weapon from the Bad Angel boss, which is called the Hello Fell. If you're interested in seeing that and where it can be used and potentially how good it is, then feel free to subscribe so you don't miss that video. Bye!